our guest today. Our guest goes by the name of Minister Kevin Minor. We're talking speaker, minister, author, and leader. Someone whose name may say minor but has done major things. From mentorship to ministry, the brother has a journey that's going to be sharing with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And hopefully, and let me scratch hopefully. There's no hopefully. It will be inspirational, inspiring. So take the pieces that you need and leave what you don't. But I guarantee there will be something you can add to your plate. And without further ado, let's introduce Minister Kevin Minor. How you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, my brother. How about you?
Oh man, I'm blessed. Thank you for joining us today. Going over some of the many things that you do. I must start from like that very moment of what inspired, the different transitions into the things that you've done. You have your hands into so many positive and impactful things. What introduced that?
Well, let me start you back in. I graduated from Eastern High School in Washington, D.C. in 1979. And while there, I was a pretty good football player. As a matter of fact, we won 2 championships. Back-to-back championships, and that still is a record that I'm proud of. And in 1978, I was voted Defensive Player of the Year in Washington, D.C. as Eastern High School. So from there, the goal was to go to college, maybe catch the eye of some scout and, do it that way. But of course, it didn't happen that way. I was, when I graduated from high school, I was just 17 years old. And the reason for that was I was skipped twice in elementary school. So I was really ahead of my own call.
Okay.
So I went to school, but I was a little immature. So what I wound up doing is walking away from a full scholarship. And of course, my thinking was, I'll get back to it sometimes and it'll be okay. But it happened to not be okay. I had some friends that were with me on those teams that did wind up playing in the league and did pretty well for themselves.
Okay.
But I didn't, and it was because of my own doing. And of course, as life goes, sometimes you make a left turn when you should have made a right.
Yeah.
I made a wrong turn and ended up on the wrong road. And on that road, I made some friends with marijuana, cocaine, and things of that nature. And I kind of got off track. It's one of the things, if you leave school, if you ever have to leave something, you think that I'll get back as soon as possible. But it doesn't. Life happens, and it doesn't happen that way.
That is
so
true.
In 1992, actually, I was offered an invitation by a friend of mine, came back to D.C. and asked me this question: what are you doing with yourself? And I was honest and said at the time I was not doing anything. So he said, why don't you come out here and visit me sometime? And he was in this place called Rohnert Park, California.
Okay.
Being from Washington, D.C., when we here in California, all we know is Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but California is much bigger than that. But I didn't know that. So I came here July 25th, 1993, with the intentions of staying a while, getting myself together, and changing focus and changing direction. Well, God had another plan for me. I took the train here, and the journey was supposed to go from Washington, D.C., through Chicago to California. But it didn't quite go that way. Because when I got to Chicago, I wound up asking myself, what are you doing? And I tried to convince myself in that moment I should get back on the other train and go back to D.C. and do what I was doing before the opportunity came.
Oh, wow.
God had other plans. While we were in Chicago, they brought us to a room. And in that room, it was maybe 5 or 10 of us. And they had a proposition. So they said, who's going to Chicago? You stay in this room. Who's going to, I think it was another city, but they ultimately got to, so you must be the one going to California. So they said, come in this room. I go in the room, and what they said to me changed my life forever. Because I just told you I was intending on hopping on the train and going back to D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I got into the other room. They said, we got good news and bad news for you. I said, well, okay, but give me the bad news first. Well, the bad news is they're snowed in Colorado and the train can't get through. Now, I got to be honest with you. When I heard that, my first thought was, cool, I can go back to doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be that way. In the next breath, what they said changed my life, like I said, forever. They are going to put you on a plane at no cost to you and get you to your destination
Wow.
at no cost to you. So I wind up, what was supposed to be a 6-day trip, wind up being a 2.5-day trip. So I arrived in California, July 25th, 1993. And a cousin, the one that was gave me the invitation, I remember him taking me to the house he was staying. Never forget this. 1:30 in the morning, and his roommate asked him, well, who is this? He said, oh, this is my cousin. She said, okay, but why does he have bags in his hand? He didn't get a chance to tell her that I was coming. But needless to say, that young lady today and I are the best of friends. She opened her home to me, and little did she know that she was being used. You see, because the journey hadn't revealed itself yet.
Yeah.
With that being said, that same cousin that gave me the invitation, he's back in Washington, D.C. I'm here doing God's work, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So while I was at Eastern, I said I was a pretty good football player. Okay. There was a kid that was there. He was our ball boy. Now, I kicked field goals in high school, which was unheard of for black schools. So I kicked field goals. He was a young kid that would take the block, bring it out there when I would kick extra points. And he was also the kid that would bring the tee out there for me to kick off. And then he'd run out there and grab the tee and come back to the sideline. Excuse me. Well, that young man, long story short, today is the head coach of my alma mater.
Oh, wow.
And you see me sporting the shirt. They just won the state championship.
I see you.
Yeah. And he likes to call me Pops. I was against it at first until I understood what it symbolized. See, it used to be Pops symbolized that I was an old man. But nothing can be further from the truth because I am 65 years young. And the reality of it is, my brother, I didn't think that I would see 31 with the life that I was living. See, so I've already exceeded what we'll call the average life expectancy for a young man that was into what I was into. And one night, left me in the alley one night. An incident happened prior to it, but the young man that was there was given the order to execute me, which he was prepared to do. He put the gun to the back of my head and he walked me to an area. Now, without having to get into the whole area that I was in, it was not uncommon to find bodies in this area in dumpsters. So my journey was taking me towards the dumpsters. But I have to be honest. There was a part of me that, because of the darkness that I was in at the time, that wanted the guy to hurry up and get it over with. My life was that dark in that moment. But in the process of walking towards the dumpster, the young man who I've never met, we get to the end of the journey. But while we're walking, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I experienced God speaking to me as we're talking right now. And in the midst of that journey, he said, not so. I have work for you to do. That young man who I never met took the gun from the back of my head, called me by name, said, Kevin Minor, just run. Now, one thing is fair to mention is that this particular alley was always one way in, one way out. However, this particular night, it was already predetermined that all I had to do was say yes to the call, and God was going to do the rest. This particular alley had a gate that allowed you to come out the back end. So he had already pre-planned my journey. So that night, I go home, and remember, mind you, and I'm not ashamed to admit, I was on drugs. I was on drugs then. I was an addict. I go to the young man's house, whom I've always gone to, and we get what we call an 8-ball. Some may know what it is, some may not. But it's a large quantity of drugs. And I was by myself. I went to the basement, as I had done previously before, and all I remember is waking up the next day. Now, I had a gun in this hand, I had a pipe in this hand, and there was a hole in the wall. So I could only ascertain that in that evening, the enemy had already prescribed for me a way for me to put a hole in my head.
Wow.
But God said, not so. And he said, I had work for you to do. So when I got to California, needless to say, I didn't know nobody. I knew my cousin, that was it. And where I am, you've probably never been here, but it's Rohnert Park, California. It's pretty Caucasian populated.
Okay.
So my first thought was, am I just the right place you want me? And God made it clear, was, oh no, he don't make no mistakes. And I wind up, now I've been here, I told you, I thought I was going to be here a couple of weeks. That was 33 years ago. I met the young lady who is now my wife. We have 4 beautiful children.
Blessings.
2 graduates, one from UCLA, the other one from USC. And I have a son that's married with 2 children. And my youngest son is now just finished his freshman year at his mother's alma mater. So I've been truly blessed as far as meeting the right person. We're raising our kids in a godly way, and very proud of them. So that's part of the journey. I don't have enough time because I try to give you the short version. I cut across the field.
No, I get it. I have a question.
Mhm.
You said a powerful moment that, there was a moment that, you heard God said, not now. Like, I have more for you. And there's a lot of people who are on right now, and there's people who may have experienced not really understanding if they heard the word in the moment of their gloom or that
Right.
moment and ignore it. What could you tell someone who's going through a moment, who's not certain if they're hearing the voice,
Right.
of the higher power?
Okay, let me say this. There, most of us grew up with a mother or father. And when it was time to come in, your mother or somebody would call you and say, so and so, it's time to come in.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know that was your mother's voice?
Because you knew it. You knew it. Yes.
So when you start the journey, you hear of people that have had encounters with the Lord, and people say, well, I heard God, and so on and so. It is clear, just as, like I said, just as clear as you and I are speaking right now. Now, I had a mother that was a praying mother, okay? And I wrote a book. More information is in the book. We do not talk about that later. But I remember coming home sometime and seeing my mother on her knees praying for me. Me knowing that what I was doing wasn't godly at all.
Yeah.
So I always knew what church was like, what it was like to be in church, but I always said that I didn't have church in me. So the familiarity of the voice comes as you stay on the journey. In the beginning, people say, I just heard something. But over a period of time, that voice becomes more pronounced. And now, mind you, there's another voice that's out there also.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember the Flintstones. There used to be an episode with the Flintstones. He had one Flintstone on the one shoulder and the other one on the other shoulder.
That's right.
It's sort of in the likes of that. You hear the voice, but it's a matter of which one you're going to listen to. Because there were other voices that were pulling me in the other direction while I was being walking towards that dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of it is this. I'll share this with you. There was a point where I was clean for about 2 weeks. And I was so proud of myself. But the only way I was able to stay clean, I had to stay in the house. But there was a friend of mine that used to get high with me all the time. He came to my house and banged on the window, and he found me. Where you been? Now, I'm saying I had been clean because I had been away for 2 weeks. That joker reached in his pocket and said, that deserves a blast.
Oh.
You see? So they're all voices. And unfortunately, that time I listened to that voice. And off we went to the races. So when I decided to leave Washington, D.C., I didn't tell anybody. Okay. I didn't tell nobody what's going on except my mom and dad, who took me to the train station. And I had to do it that way because I knew that there would be people. And in retrospect, I know that there would be people trying to talk me out of it. Because you start talking about you hearing from God, they're like, yeah, give me some of that.
Yeah, and most definite. And like you said, that there's 2 voices.
Absolutely. And you have the opportunity to listen to either one of them. I hope I answered that question.
No, you surely did. Now, once you started on this path and the light on the other end starts to brighten up, what was the next step for your growth as you as an individual? Because I know that transition is never easy and sometimes it's uncertain. So what was that next step for you as an individual?
The next step was starting a prayer life. I started because I was by myself. I didn't know a whole lot of people here. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, my cousin was in a program called NA. I went to a couple of the meetings, and there was an incident where a young man saw me downtown. He just met me at the NA meetings and called. I was only going by DC at the time, not my real name. And the guy hollered at me across the street and said, DC, keep coming back. So that's what they say to one another. So I had to get his attention and got close to him. I said, man, what are you doing, man? It's supposed to be anonymous. And you calling me as if we're in some kind of club or something. So I told my cousin, I said, man, I'm not going to no more of your meetings. And I didn't. So what I was able to do as far as get clean, I hear people counting days. I've been clean for this amount of days and this amount of hours. I never counted days. I had one day I was clean. The next day I was either clean or not. So I just stayed on the journey. And it was one step at a time in front of the other. And that was it. So I tell people that I didn't do the NA program. I did the JESUS program. And it worked for me. It may not be for everybody. And that's the Jesus program. And that's what I promote today. We started a movement called Ministry Without Walls. And it's located in the hearts of every born-again believer that believes in the gospel according to Jesus Christ. Because there are other people that they believe, but not necessarily in that path. It's not a religion. It's not a church. And Ministry Without Walls started with no walls.
That's right.
Walls have a purpose. One of the purposes of walls is to separate us. One of the purposes of walls is to confine us, to keep us from something, or to keep something in. So we did away with the walls because wherever I am, the ministry is there also. We don't claim a building. We only claim that we're one. You call it the higher power. You can call it what you want. I've studied with people that are Jehovah's Witness. I've studied with people that are Seventh-day Adventists. And I always tell them, I said, what you call them is your own business. But we do recognize that there is something greater than you and I. And whether that be Buddha or whatever, you recognize and you submit to a power greater than yourself. And to me, that's the first step. And we've grown. I can't tell you how many people are connected with the Ministry Without Walls now. However, I do attend a traditional church. I'm a sound technician, something that I learned along the way. So I'm the sound tech there. I also play drums. And if you play drums in DC, we got this thing called go-go.
That's right. It's the home.
Hey, I did that. So I always maintain my skills. And one of the originators of this go-go beat, they call him Juju, today is a friend of mine. Chuck Brown had a drummer called Sugarfoot. I became friends with those guys before I took my journey. I'm still in touch with Juju, but today I play the drums with one of my members. She's doctor. She said, Kevin is a go-go, no, what do you call a go-go gospel drummer.
There you go.
I can live with that.
We can take that, right? We can take that.
Yeah.
So I got a question, and you spoke about the ministry not being confined by four walls. It lives wherever people go or need help, and belief. The word belief is so powerful yet so complex and so easy at the same time. One of my favorite, and my question is going to lead into it, but one of my favorite scriptures is John 3:16. God forever loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Whoever should believe in him shall not perish, shall live an everlasting life. The word belief, I know a lot of people that's the issue. Belief. If you had to explain the concept of belief to someone who's on the fence and they kind of see the light, but that other voice is winning the conversation, how would you describe that?
Well, without getting too biblical, that scripture, because here's the thing, most of the people that are part of Ministry Without Walls don't have a church background. Some of them don't go to church, so I can't Bible beat them. I can't beat them up with scriptures. So when we talk about belief, when you walk in a room and you're in your home and you put the lights on, you have a belief that when you hit that switch, the light's going to go on.
That's right.
What gives you that belief? Maybe you paid the bill. Maybe that paying the bill makes you believe that the lights are going to come on. When you go to sit in your favorite chair, sometimes you don't even look, but you make that sitting motion because you believe that chair is going to be there. So I would say that The belief system is from things happening over and over and over again. The belief system is built. See, you believe that if you do something that's admirable, people will recognize you for it. If you do something that's not good, people will recognize you for it. So the question becomes, what do you want to be recognized for? See, I spoke earlier in the process that I was a football player. And that young man that I told you that is now the head coach of Eastern High School, he found me and we talked about practice being over, him staying after practice, and I lived directly across the street from the school. So it was so close that after practice was over, he would follow me home. And we would spend time on my grandmother's front step talking. I had no idea until he told me years ago. He said, what you didn't know is that my father wasn't in the picture. You became my father figure. Now, mind you, I was only 17 at the time. Now, I can't say there was a concerted effort to become what I became, but I had a father. My father was very instrumental and very present in my life. He coached a lot of people. And when he transitioned, at his wake, people showed up to give homage to him that I knew by reputation. There was a young man that stood to the bike and said, hi, everybody, my name's Elgin Baylor. You ever heard of Elgin Baylor?
I have.
My father taught him basketball.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood.
Wow.
There's a guy named John Thompson who wound up coaching Georgetown.
Yes.
He spoke up for my dad.
Legendary. I mean, the name Georgetown, that resonates with.
And he was always Mr. Minor. You see what I'm saying? So I long to be able to have that kind of legacy attached to my name. But I didn't do anything no concerted effort to, I'm going to be that. I lived my life. My father, there were certain things that he would say that stuck with me. And I say them to my sons. One of them was, be a leader, not a follower. That one still reigns to this day because I got 2 sons and 2 daughters. And I tell them all the same thing. Be a leader, not a follower. So a little while ago, we just talked about beliefs.
Yes.
The more times they told themselves that, the more they started to do what? Believe it.
Believe it.
You see? And that's how belief works. Whether it be belief in God, whether it be belief in a higher power, whether it be a belief in your ability to do something, it starts out with a thought. Everything starts out with a thought. A thought is the cause of it all. You understand what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And you said about John 6:16. I take scripture like that and I just kind of dissect it because some of the people, if I say John 6:16 to them, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I say, listen, man, God so loved the world that he gave. Stop right there. Put a period right there. He so loved that he gave. And what he gave was his only begotten son. That whoso would believe in him would not perish, and that's the other part of it, but have everlasting life. But his son had to believe also. He believed so that he, in obedience, gave his life. So belief is a trigger. It's going to trigger you to do one thing or not, or the other. Because I know some guys that believe in what they do, and what they do is illegal, harmful, but they believe in it.
They believe in it. Yes.
Is that you?
No, that's not me.
That little bell? Okay.
Yeah.
But they believe in it. There are guys that I was fortunate not to do time for some of the stuff I did because God had his hand on me. Selling drugs, using drugs, womanizing, all those things that we had a belief in because we thought that was the thing to do. But until you introduce to something different, your belief system would be wrapped around that. So when I came to California, I had a belief system, but it was in all the wrong things. Not because my daddy didn't raise me well, not because my mama didn't breastfeed me. You see, because you give us a chance, we're gonna blame it on everything.
Anything we'll find reason, right?
Yeah, my shoes too big, and whatever. So if given enough time, we can think of an answer for everything. So what I have learned to do is not give a person room to choose. If I'm trying to help them in a long direction, lead by example. You got to be careful, man. I'm a preacher, man, so I can get kind of long with it sometimes.
No. We welcome every level of
Okay.
conversation. That is not a problem at all. I'm not sure if it froze for you, but for our viewers that are on right now, you're in still, but we still getting the audio, so that works perfectly fine. Okay,
Okay.
I think you're back. I wanna thank you for the way you explain belief. Like I myself, I call myself a journeyman. Like I've been through I've been through the mosque, the church, the chapel. I've been through prison. I've been through public school. I've been through college, and I like to soak in positivity. And I always ask that question, and a lot of people explain it not in a way that's I don't want to say clear, but
You freezing up on me. You're
from the
freezing
heart.
up on me periodically.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if it's us. For the viewers that are watching right now, could someone just give a confirmation or a thumbs up in the chat if they see us moving or me moving or anything freezing? Please confirm that for us, because I'm good on my end with him. They said internet problems. Okay, so the people are seeing a little bit of that as well. Now you wrote a book. Could we talk a little bit about the book and the inspiration behind the book?
Absolutely. When I was telling my story, I had the opportunity to talk to a gentleman. You remember The Wire?
Yes.
There was a guy on there. He was blind. His name's Robert. His real
Okay.
name is Robert. They call him Butchie on the show.
Yeah.
I met him indirectly through a friend of mine who happened to be in his vicinity talking about me. And he asked the gentleman, "Who is this Kevin Miner guy y'all keep talking about?" Their response was, "Man, Kevin Miner's a legend back in the hood. You know what I mean?" And he said, "Was there any way that he could talk to me?"
I think we got a little freezing. Kev, are you there? Okay, we got a little freeze, y'all. Let me just he's back. Is we
Good?
back? Yeah, we good.
What's
We
the
good
last thing?
now. You spoke about him wanting to speak with you, and that it kind of went from there.
Okay.
And we lost you.
He told me, he said, "Listen, when you're back in DC, look me up."
Yeah, we getting chopped up. We getting chopped up big time. Could you hear me, Kevin? Okay, he went into. Let's go. We're gonna go into a quick break. Quick break. You know, he mentioned like there's always. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay, I was just about to go to commercial break real quick, but you're back. Could you please share that story? Seemed like it was gonna be very impactful.
Yes. So when I went to DC, my goal was to look him up for the purpose of being on this theater show. So my trip was coming to an
Oh, we back again. You froze once again.
Well, that's okay. I'm gonna keep hitting reset.
That's right. You know,
Yeah.
before you even continue, and please keep hitting reset. This is a good example of like just in our journey of life. Like sometimes you are on a path for something that's need to be done, and you're gonna reach those roadblocks, those moments, but it's the continuation of it. So
Absolutely.
we take every moment. We take every moment as a learning moment. So please continue.
So I'm in DC, and I called him. I said, "Well, Butchie, my last day is tomorrow." And where you at? So he said, "But what are you doing right now?" I said, "I'm good." He said, "Come over to the studio right now." So I did.
It's warming up. I lost you again.
It came up in our conversation.
You're going in and out. If you can hear me, Kevin, do this. I'm going to a quick video break. Log out and log back in for me real quick. It probably help refresh it real quick.
Let me ask one. Get my manager in here.
All
My
right,
man.
all right. So we're gonna go into a quick video, y'all. Shout out to everybody that's on. If you listening through the app or you're on Google TV, Apple TV, as well as the Bushwick Radio, we are talking with Minister Kevin Miner. He was speaking about his journey from, ministry to mentorship to, ministry without walls. But we're gonna go into this slipping, locking it down today, and this song is called Locked In. Let's check this out, and we'll be back with this set, y'all. So.
When you think about it, got my money, party with want the green, get in between those titties. Simone, let's party,
See, I wake up, smell the coffee. Tell my mind level, gotta pray these demons off me. I've been seeing stranger things like I live in Hawkins. Niggas think I got it made, don't know what it cost me. Blood, sweat, and tears for my golden like hockey. I might pop out, but you chomp out. Thought I was joking, I'm the one who got the cars now, huh? You can tell, wipe me down, fix my crowd down, huh? I'm at the top with my bros yelling boss down. Bring the crowd out, try to get this bitch jumping like a bounce house. Cool dude, I be chilling with some crash outs. Soft girl fixers is the ones who got the gas out. Got a halo, but I touch it for a peso. Wait, no, still getting blessings by the caseload. Hey, bro, told you I got classes on the way. Lay low, hang on, we gon' get it on the way. So, I've been trying to quiet for a minute on a mission. Have to read this, make the vision. Tell you now you better lock in. It ain't never done until it's finished. Gotta go to work and do the dishes. Look, listen, better lock in. Try to tell you I've been on a mission. Top from the motherfucking kitchen. Look, listen, better lock in. Every day I gotta clock in. Punch cards soon as I walk in. Look, listen, hold on. Walked in this bitch like I finally graduated. P54 West, I'm stomping on the pavement. Agitated, I can make a hater.
All right, y'all. We took a quick intermission break. We're gonna bring them back on the set. All right, let's try this out. Hey, Minister Minor, we good? We good now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I stop? Where do I stop?
Could you please tell us the story? Could you take us back to wanting to talk to you? That's kind of like where we stopped at.
Absolutely. So when I walked into the studio, again, I noticed for the first time that he was blind because it never came up in our conversation. Okay. And this is before I recognized who he was after seeing him from The Wire and so forth. So the gentleman that was with him, nobody's giving me any directions. Nobody is telling me what we're going to do. We're going to do it this. So all of a sudden he mics me up. And I'm saying to myself, when is he going to tell me the format? What are we going to do? And he says, okay, we're good. And I'm saying to myself, I'm not good. What are we doing? And he goes, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm on camera. And I started to tell my story. And I had, at that point, I'd been doing it a while. So it was no problem me being on camera.
Yeah.
And I think I talked for about 25, 26 minutes. And it wound up being something that I refer to and refer people to. It's called the Addiction Recovery Project. Okay. And I can get you more information on that. But he had me on there sharing my testimony. And I went in and I cut across the field. But in that process, I realized that this is what God was telling me about. I have work for you to do, because this was totally informal as to how we met. But once we met, the information that was going forward was being videotaped. So there's going to be a record of this information, you see. And I found out in talking to him that he and my cousin graduated from Florida A&M together. So out of that relationship came evidence of other relationships. Because like I said, I played ball at Eastern, and I say, well, I was pretty good, and people knew me from playing ball. Yeah. But we were so far removed from that now my life had taken on a brand new meaning. Now, a young man that went to elementary school with me, he went to elementary school with me, he went to junior high school with me, and he went to college with me. He always was on the reporting staff. He did our yearbooks and so on and so forth. His name was Wayne Caraway. And may he rest in peace, because once he finished my book, he passed on a week or two later. Wow. So he felt like and I've talked to his wife. His wife said he loved you so much, Kevin. He wanted to finish that book before he transitioned. And he did. So everything started to just fall in line the way it's supposed to. So that gives you, talk about belief, that leads you to believe this thing was predestined before me. So all I'm doing is playing my part. See?
That's right.
He's my friend for life. And then the young man, Robert, what he did, that put it on the map. I don't know how many likes, how many people that has followed that, but it was just further evidence that God had this destiny already in mind. The journey was already predetermined. All I had to do, as just like his son, in obedience, follow the path.
Follow the path.
Because one scripture is, your obedience is better than any sacrifice you can make. Because I can tell you how to put something together and tell you, okay, do 1, 2, 3, 4. and you get to 1, 2 and say, man, I don't need to do all that. And you go 1, 2, 4. It's not going to be the same thing. It may be incomplete. So the first thing I had to do was learn how to follow directions, life directions. And today, that's what my ministry is about. It's about giving young men inspiration, because some of them weren't even born when I was in high school.
That's right.
You know, so with that being said, my life starts from here forward. But the young man who coaches my alma mater now has put them on the map. Like I said, they just won a state championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing a sweater. Now we win back-to-back city championships. We never won a state championship. The black schools were not invited to the state championships back then. But everything that happens for a reason. So we just have to learn how to put things in perspective. You just understand?
That's right.
So I don't try to Bible beat nobody. So I know scripture, but that's not the link. The connection is us. People. And God has given me an ability to connect with people. Like yourself.
And that's power.
So I'm gonna give you back the mic.
So I got a question, and this is normally a conversation piece with every guest that we come on, and there's only one question that is going to be asked to every person, and that is, if you could look at the younger, Kevin Minor, and tell yourself anything, what would that be?
Stick to it. Stick to itiveness. Because I was so gifted as a young athlete, I didn't understand that when I walked away, I'm walking away. I thought, hey, I go back to school next year, but life happens. And once life happens, everything changes. Everything changes, because when I walked away from the scholarship, I didn't know that would be the last time I'd be walking away from the opportunity to play ball. And in the interim, as life happened, I had an attitude issue. I have had a problem putting my hands on people. Now, it served me well on the football field, but in life, you can't just go beating people up.
Yeah.
And it wound up me jumping on a young man and beat him pretty good. He'll remain nameless, but that was the changing point in my life, because at the time I was in the Marine Corps Reserve, and they did me a great service by allowing me, because what wound up happening, I wound up staying much longer than I anticipated. Not because of what I'd done, but because of not wanting to tell on somebody. The street rule.
Yeah.
So not wanting to tell on somebody made 60 days wind up to be 2 years. So I wound up spending 2 years at a youth center that I shouldn't have been at. But here's the crazy part about it. When I came home from school, I wound up going to the University of District of Columbia for a year. That let me know that I could still compete. And that was really the reason that I went there. But my mind was telling me, you're playing beneath yourself, champ. Because it was a small school, and I felt like I had major college Division I talent. But I did with the opportunity. I squandered the opportunity. And some of the guys that graduated me from high school went on to do great things in the NFL. So I think that a lot of what happened to me was more because I was disappointed in myself. So when I would see people, they say, man, this dude here should be in the NFL and so and so. Now, they were complimenting me, but what they were really doing was reminding me that I blew my opportunity. So when that happened, I'll smoke a little bit more.
Yeah.
They remind me, I smoke a little bit more. You see, but in the meantime, time is not waiting. So the friend name was Bill. Bill and I had talked about, man, he asked me the same question that you just did. If you had an opportunity to do it all over again, what would you do different? So we started on writing a book, but listen to the way we did it. I just talked. He had a way of taking notes without asking me questions. And after about 3 weeks, he sent me, I'm gonna send you something. He sent it to me in the mail, and he was writing my book. But Wayne lost his eyesight with diabetes. So I started feeling like it's not time to write the book. Maybe the book would never happen. But as time went on, I ran into Wayne a few years later. He regained his sight. He bought a store in the neighborhood. And I came home, and all that's in the book. We started talking, and we rekindled the opportunity and the flame to write the book. Now, Wayne was much sicker than he led me to believe. He knew, but he never told me. You see? Then his wife told me he was determined to finish that book. And he did it. And when I read it for the first time, I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said, man, Kevin, the book almost finished, man. It's almost finished. I said, yeah. You keep saying that. While we're talking, the mail people come. Guess what's in my mail?
Oh, he sent that.
I said, man, I got the book. He said, oh, I said, man, why you didn't tell me that you sent the book? He said, oh, I sent the book.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I sent the book.
Yeah, he sent the book. So I read it for the first time. I didn't know I would publish it. Copyright, I didn't know I would do all of that. It was just a matter of getting the book in front of me. But once I got it and I let a few people do a read on it, say, man, you got to publish this thing. You got to take it all away. So the opportunity to take it all away, the opportunity came to me from different people. Different people said, man, you should call this person. So I wind up publishing the book, getting a copy written. Now, I'd be lying if I said I had a lot of money because it wasn't as costly as I thought it would be. But my wife believed in me and believed in my vision. So we've spent money that we really didn't have. But she did it for me to be able to have the opportunity to say, I wrote the book.
You did? Yes.
Now it's published. Now it's copywritten. It's a book. It's available for people to purchase. And I'll get with you later and give you an opportunity to show you how you can get a copy of it.
Okay, great.
But,
Speaking of copy, my man Ivan hailing, he's listening from the app from Russia. He mentioned something which is true. He said, I've been listening and heard the mention of a book. Could you please tell me the title and where can I get it? So,
About me?
Yes, people are interested right now. This is hailing from Russia. So he's like, yo, what's going on? Where could I get this? There you go right there. The Eastern High School Mad Dog, number 50. That's right. Yeah. And where could people get it?
Now, I'm going to be able, I wish I knew how to put the link on this page, but Sheila has the link.
Okay.
Now, if you can give me any number, I want to get it to you, and you could share it with them.
Okay, most definitely.
Again,
Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
my wife said Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
They can go there and find the book.
Okay.
Under the title, Family in Focus.
There we go, right there. My man Ivan. Send me a thumbs up in the email if you got that, because people interested. He said, I want to get that.
Right.
I want to get that. That's right. Now, for you, if people are interested and they're curious about ministry and the ministry without walls, and they want to further have a conversation or get some insight, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Text me at 707-280-9285, and it'll start with a text, but Monday through Friday,
Okay.
Sunday through Friday, I do a post. It's called Food for Thought, and I do it every day of the week. And on West Coast time, I'm usually up about 8:00, and a lot of people on the East Coast. And I say right now, maybe over 200 people. So what winds up happening, I send it to one person. They are free to send it to whoever they want to send it to. So it grows that way. So right now, because again, I'm not that computer savvy, I do it by way of text. But Sheila, she is determined to get me computer savvy enough to make this thing expand.
She already in the chat with it. She in the chat already. She's saying, no, we're gonna get the DM on Facebook going. So she already working. I saw that pop up as soon as you started talking. So yes, she is most definitely working on that.
And I'm looking forward to it.
And that's the beauty of That's the beauty of it all. Like when people feel a mission or an energy, they want to add on to create the expansion. Like we spoke about belief, and you radiate that. And I would like to tell you this now. We know we're in the era of people getting their flowers. And that's a big conversation. But here on MJMG Presents SHU Radio, we don't give out flower. We give out honor, because flowers do die, but honor lasts forever. And I want to take this time to give you your honor. You said something about having the voices speak to you, the good and bad. And you said, I never count the days. I didn't count the days. I just kept going on a journey. Sometimes we might step in mud. We might walk in glass. We might hit our head. But the journey continues. And as you continued on your journey, getting the insight, you didn't selfishly focus on your gain, your growth, your insight. You are sharing it with the people, and you're giving an insight from taking your journey and not leaving it to the hardships that it was, but also as a memoir to those to do different. And we would like to give you your honor for taking your journey, sharing it, and helping many, probably far more than you even know you've touched with your story and the things that you can do. So thank you so much for that.
Right before I leave, I want to share something with you, if time permits it.
Yes, please.
This is something that was written. It's in the foreword of the book.
Okay.
And it says, "Walk with me, young athletes, down dead-end avenues of misplaced pride, up alleyways of self-inflicted hard times where pain resides. Meet anger, explore evil angels of untrue light. Journey the system and all of its blinding death binding. Highs, rest, consider, step forward, schooled right, joy in the sunshine of victory's insight. Walk with me." That poem is in the beginning of the book.
That's a
So
great
that's
way
who it's dedicated
to set
to.
it off.
Yeah. So
You
I
said that was
appreciate
dedicated to?
it's dedicated to everybody that reads the book, but its focal was the young people, young athletes. And I deliberately didn't give it a name. But the first thing I say is, walk with me, young athletes,
Please.
because I was that young athlete. And if there was somebody there who could have told me to stay in it, get back in it, things may have turned out differently. But I happen to believe that my journey was my journey. Nothing I could have done would have changed it. However, in retrospect, I can reflect back and try to visualize what I think I would have done had things been different. But here's my reality. Things were not different. They were what they were.
What they were.
And they are what they are. So with that being said, I just look forward to the next day.
That's
Who
right.
can I help? When I wake up in the morning, I say, okay, who will you have me talk to today? What life will you have me touch today? Because it's all about today.
Today.
And that's where I am.
I love it. Let's give another round of applause on that one. I want to thank you for sharing not only your journey, but your wisdom and your energy, as well as motivation. Not only to us that's listening or that's on the chat, but you've touched someone in Russia today who's actually reached out, and he did send a thumbs up saying he is going to find the book. So you've most definitely impacted many people, and with each day you will continue. Before we do let you go, I do want to let you have any final words or anything you want to share, anything you want to say, or anybody you need some words to. The floor is yours.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak to people that I've never even actually met. But tonight we met, we talked, and hopefully I've impacted a life here and there. So I just want my journey to be able to touch some lives and tell some people some of the right things I've done that they can emulate, and some of the wrong things I may have done. And the book will do that. So my advice is to purchase the book. It would tell you things that I probably didn't have enough time to tell you today, but he did a wonderful job in writing this book. I never thought it would be reality, but it is. And then the finally in focus, that part, my wife came up with that title. She didn't know me during the journey, but she met me in 94. And from that point forward, we've been, people used to say thick as thieves, but I don't like that.
I get you.
But you know what I'm talking about.
True indeed.
So,
True indeed.
Yeah, 30 plus years of being with her, 4 beautiful children later, and God has been blessing me beyond measure. So what I would say is thank you all for listening to me. I hope I said something that will inspire someone to do something better or different with their lives, whatever is necessary. And I thank my brother here for the opportunity to be able to expand and tell my story. And I thank my sister Sheila for getting what I said and said we're going to make this happen. I tried to talk her out of it.
She is very persuasive.
Absolutely. And I've known her for quite some time. I've known her and her husband for quite some time. And, you know, as a matter of fact, we used to go behind the walls at San Quentin to preach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to go behind with our former pastor. And that's when we actually met. And that truly blessings, man. So God is awesome. He's been good to me. And that's what I want to say in closing. You know, he's been good to me. And look, watch this. You see that?
Yeah, right there.
That's God, man. Thank you for giving me the breath of life one more time. Allow me to breathe the breath of life just one more time. And I say thank you. And I thank you, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the words. Thank you for the journey. I hope you continue on with a blessed day. Tell the manager / Mrs. and everyone, thank you for sharing you for this moment. And shout out to Miss Jackson, MJMG Presents, for always connecting people with missions to add to missions. But again, thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you. The pleasure's been all mine.
All right, my brother. Thank you again. Shout out to everybody that's on right now. That was Minister Kevin Miner. He has been an author, speaker, a leader. He gave some amazing content and words. Now I got to give you the final, my final word, the final word. If you didn't get anything from today, which there was so many things to get, take this. He said, what is, and what will be. But in the journey, there's a thing called belief. And belief comes with a consistency of. Once you learn something, you have a better chance of believing. And when you believe, you're motivated to do. He made the sense of, you turn on the light switch, you automatically think it's going to come on. The reason being because you've done it before. Now I want to take it a step further. When you're younger, there was a moment when you could not reach the light switch, but you knew what it did. And as you grew into it, you had your opportunity to do. As we grow as people, no matter through our hardships, our trials and tribulations, sometimes we're not going to reach the things that we want to do. The things that we saw people do. The things that we hope one day we can get our hand and reach for it. But we have to believe in what? Not just the act of, but the act of each step getting through it. And sometimes we're going to hit those roadblocks. Let me take that back. We're going to hit those roadblocks. We're going to fall into the mud. We're going to hit our heads. But we have to have the belief that we can do what? Get through it. Because if you stop, you know what you get. If you succumb to it, you know if you get. You have to believe in the power to do. Nothing could hold you back from that. And if we want to get spiritual with it, like he said in John 3:16, who shall believe in him shall not perish. And he said something. He said even Jesus had to believe in the actions that he did in order to succeed the fulfillment of giving the presentation of. And if you want to keep it in the spiritual sense, if you have the Lord in you, if you have the higher power, if you have whatever it is you believe in you, then you have to radiate the examples of, not for anyone else, for yourself to believe. Have a nice night, y'all. I want to give a round of applause to everybody. That was my Sherman for the day. I told you I'm a journeyman. A journeyman. I've sat in many arenas in my short years of living. Traveled. And some of my travels remain seated. But I want to send a big shout out to everybody on MJMG Presents. Shout out to everybody on Bushwick Radio, Apple TV, Google TV, and shout out to everybody on Instagram Live, tapping in. Check us out every Monday where we humanize the superheroes. We give you backstories to add to your stories, to move stories. But we're going to go into this last one. This is going back into the slip. Locked in. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good one. And stay blessed, y'all. I'm Spell Brooklyn. This is MJMG Presents SHU Radio. Have a good night, y'all.
SHU Studio. We get busy.
Count my money, party with bitches. Hundreds and fifties, big ass titties. Count the green, get in between those titties. Simone, let's party.